Hey yo, what's up? Man, I'm dropping this video a little bit later than usual, but things get in the way, life get in the way, and it is what it is. But once again, I appreciate for anybody new to the channel that rocks with the St. Nicholas brand, aka the voice of the people. And yeah, I definitely truly appreciate you guys coming to check it out. Hopefully you guys always take something from the daily message, and you can use it to the best of your ability when it comes to building up awareness and building up knowledge to the things that are going on out here in this crazy world that we're in right now. But I'm gonna get into the video right now, so just stay with me. So title of the video, man, we're talking about the school system being a scam. School system being a scam. Now, this is a really touchy topic because a lot of people are a part of that, right? A lot of people have grown a part of the school system from, as long as they can remember, their parents, and their parents before that. And what I learned is over time, since I was 17 and a half, is that, people worship the word school. Like, it's almost like a religion in a sense. Like, people get so disrespected when you speak with a different direction about school, right? Everybody is supposed to love the idea of school, right? And if you don't, then you just get knocked by so many different people, including the people close to you and around you. And I'm gonna turn around and I'm gonna make a video this is exactly the same that I'm making now about the 9-to-5 job, because this is almost similar. But we're in the arena of talking about school being a scam. And so with that, school is another social construct that was put together to endorse each American individual to doing things in a specific way and to have learned specific things, right? I can't really name everything that should have been taught in school since the time that I was, in grade school up until now in 2025, right? The stuff that's been pushed in school has been absolutely ridiculous, right? Like I said, it's a social construct that's been put together so everybody could know the exact same shit. But the problem with that is that the shit that we've been taught and up until today that the kids are still learning it's not much. It's nothing that helps you outside of life. Everybody's still learning art, science, cooking, and all types of like crazy shit, like stuff that just don't help you, right? And I'm just wondering when are we ever going to start teaching our kids shit that's going to help them in this world that we live in. So when they graduate and they move on to whatever direction they decide, whether they decide to go to college or whether they decide to be a creative and go a different way. But whatever that direction may be, we have to understand why these schools are not teaching things that need to be taught. And no, if you're saying, well, maybe you should just focus on private school, for, your kids. My response to you is that no, you shouldn't have to send your kid to private school to learn certain things. Because if you ask me, in my opinion, you shouldn't even be charging to be teaching kids shit anyway. Let alone what colleges do, take, $250,000, $100,000, for certain schools, and don't guarantee a job, don't guarantee, you know, anything that's gonna, help you, on the next level. But they take the money and you still pay them, right? That's scam. That's some scam shit, right? But let's get back into, the construct of, grades, 6 through 12. At what point are these school systems gonna say, hey, look, you guys send your kids to us all the time, right? And no, we're not gonna be a role model for them, you know what I'm saying? But we are here to teach them something. And the thing is here is that when we graduate and when we leave off into the real world, there are real world issues. There are real world things that we have to deal with. The first thing that we deal with is the understanding of credit, right? Credit is one of those things where if you don't have any clue as to how to utilize credit from the time you're 18 up into whatever age bracket that you are now, in this corporation is what I call it. People call it a country. I call it a corporation. I call it a corporation. I don't care what none of you guys say or what anybody else think, because this country is a business and it runs like a business. And if you go and you do some deeper research, you'll see that it says that this country was established as a corporation. Most people don't even know that. But then, if being politically correct, they'll be like, oh, no, there has amendments and there had all of these bipartisan bills and all that stuff to make it so-called a country. But if you dial in and see all the shit that goes on between, all the advertisements and all the, the stock market and all the shit that, that doesn't work for the average person, it's all running as a business, and when you talk about those different things, when you talk about profits, profits and stuff like that, that's corporate shit. That's a corporation, right? Isn't that how this country is run? Nobody is doing shit by trust or by what they call on a dollar, doing shit by trust. Everything is incorporation. It's incorporated. You can't trust nobody with nothing. And anytime you're doing something, somebody always has an agenda and you always got to pay somebody something. Right? So these schools are not set up and built in order to teach our kids how to deal with that type of shit when they get out of school. You pledge allegiance, you put your hand over your heart and all that shit. But they don't teach them shit about credit. They don't teach them nothing about debit cards. They don't teach them nothing about house mortgages. They don't teach them nothing about how to apply for, a home. They don't teach them about none of that shit. And that's what bothers me. That's what really upsets me. And the fact that everybody like me, an average person, goes around and act like this shit don't matter, or like, oh, we should just look the other way and we should just be so excited about, about fucking public schools and, or any of the schools, because they don't teach shit. Like, when you guys are gonna be like, all right, man, this shit is enough. I didn't learn shit. My parents didn't learn shit. They didn't learn shit before. All we learned how to do is accumulate debt. That's all we really learned how to do. We only knew how to get out of school and start spending fucking money. Correct me if I'm wrong. You know what I'm saying? And it's so tiring, man. I'm tired of everybody, turning the cheek and shit when stuff that really matters. This shit needs to be addressed. All of this shit is really is depressing. Like, I have the smartest kids, man, the most creative kids, and then they're going to be so special. They're going to, do things that I know most parents wouldn't expect them to do. They're going to do it because they're creative, man. They have creative minds. I'm not expecting these schools that they go to make them be something that that they want them to be, because my kids are a part of a different society, a different generation. So I'm already seeing it, especially my son. My son is 4 years old, and he has a unique ability to speak to people in a unique way at 4 years of age. I know he's not going to follow this school system shit. You know what I mean? And I'm not sure how your kids are and what you guys, see, but if you don't agree with me, that's cool. But I'm telling you the facts. If you could show me something else that shows that all of these schools around this country teach these subjects and they are firm about this subject, like, you're not going to graduate unless you learn how to make sure your credit is going to be tits before you graduate. Let me know, because last time I checked, you got to do a senior portfolio. You got to have this credit, that credit, and this credit when it comes to the point system of the structure of the classes, right? So in my opinion, what the fuck does that have to do when you step out of school? Because if that's the case, I could just keep my kids with me and teach them all that basic shit. And then some people are like, well, you just send them to school because they got to be social. They don't got to be a damn thing, especially social, because as soon as you walk out of here, that's all you're going to fucking do is talk to people. If that's what you call being social, you're going to talk to people. And then some of you are going to be like, well, what about when they go to college, you got to get these connections, because that's what it's about. It's about connections. Somebody told me that shit when I was, when I had my third job, and they were like college freaks, man. I mean, like they was like fucking hypnotized over that shit. Like they felt that like they was better than everybody because they graduated with a fucking degree, and they was sitting in the same fucking job that I was sitting in, and we was doing the same shit, but they was just one level up when it comes to the social construct position that they give you, right? And I mean, they felt that they were a new Enlil, God, Allah. They felt that they were that. The way they talked to you, the way they moved. And this isn't no knock on them, taking the extra time in order to get the degree. But what I'm saying is that it did not do anything special in order to catapult them to higher levels. Even if you get connections, those connections all the time ain't gonna be sincere. A lot of these people are fake as fuck. They'll tell you something, they'll act like they're cool with you, they act like you're your friend, but they won't teach you a goddamn thing. Trust me, I've been around the block, man. I've seen this before with my own two eyes. They'll tell you one thing and then do something else. So it's all about you looking out for your kids, and they looking out for themselves, so that way they can follow their creative mind in order to progress, And I'm just like, I'm speaking off of, experience. I've been like in different, positions where, I've dealt with like, top, money bracket, money earners, and, lower bracket, middle tier, all of that shit, man. All these people are the same. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing, that you've been told or taught or watched on TV, all of this shit, the scam, groups and videos that you watched, and they told you that you need to, get in this circle or change this circle or that circle. None of that shit exists. I'm telling you right now, it's all bullshit. You have to be creative, and you have to do things on your own, and hopefully you just end up in such a opportunistic position. And that's what most minorities and people that come up are in, those positions, like the football players, the music artists, they find a way to get these, opportunistic situations. And I'm not saying to be that, because I don't want nobody to be in that industry, or, and especially Hollywood or none of that stuff, because those things that say they require you to deal with fake people, and then those people put you in very bad decisions, right? And we've seen that, but I don't want to get too far, off the topic, you know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is that it's just another social construct that gets you pre-built and ready to get to the next social construct, and we all know that's a job. But that's another video for another day. If you guys made it this far and my thoughts align with your thoughts, like and subscribe. This is a small channel, but we plan on doing big things. Thanks for tuning in. This is the Voice of the People. I'm out.